here we are in a car, right? With my dirty laundry bags and things to say. Give me just a moment. I need to set up the options on the chat here. Subscribers only. Uh-oh. Okay, I thought somebody commented. And hang on. I'm not able to multitask. Oh yeah, message delay. This ain't your chat room, truthers. This ain't your chat room. Ain't y'all got Discord servers? I say that, but if we could get a couple of, I'll make a couple of messages, get these messages off my screen so I can see my pretty face. Yo, do I have to wait 20 seconds? That would be funny. No. Wait, one more. Got my laundry did. Some Asian lady in there was tripping. I put her in her place, which, you know, I'm not really interested in doing that sort of thing. But it's funny, man. As soon as I go in there, wherever I'm at, you know, I'm walking to go grab one of them carts, the rolly carts. Here she comes right behind me. And usually I just wait for people to do whatever they're going to do. I just, fuck it, made her back up. Next thing I know, I'm over at the sink, plugged in my power bank to charge, and, you know, wash my hands and gonna get the sleep out of my eyes. Here she comes, needs the sink, just working around me. Turn the other cheek, forgive the first transgression. Here she comes again. I just looked at her. I just stood there and looked at her. Then she wants to move around me to the sink. I said, do you mind? Can I use the sink? Like, what is this, man? Like, what's even happening here? Bizarro world, man. Bizarro world. And the more I work with these, the tissues in my back, down into my underneath my shoulder blade, and meditations in anger, like I talked about the other day. So, you know, now I'm getting to where I realize I can have an appropriate response of anger. So I just basically told her, I said, you know, if you see me over here, you're gonna have to wait your turn. That's, you know, that's what, and without lecturing, right? That's the neurodivergence. That's the undiagnosed fake autism. Want to try to give everybody a lecture. I said, basically, no, you wait your turn. When I'm done, it's your turn. Easy. And then I ended it with, you know, don't y'all know old men's cranky in the mornings? You maybe just give them a little bit of space, right? So that was fun. Managed to pull that off. And, you know, realizing this realm, especially America, this idea of Americans as authoritarians, and then just walking around in the morning, really what I realize now is these people, sadly, they are just so used to sort of forcefully be put in their place, right? But that ain't old Benton's function. You know, it's almost like a defense at this point. You know, just to be able to maneuver about the space, right? And then interestingly, after I told her what for, I went back to doing my thing, and I guess she didn't really need the sink in a big fat hurry. Then it was like, now I'm looking at her and it's like, I guess it wasn't that big of a deal. Or was she over there because I was over there? I don't know. Some cultures that seems to be, you know, just go to where the other people are and, you know, get into their shenanigans, right? Thank y'all for liking the stream. It's the least I could do. Much appreciated. But yeah, the way of this world of death, sadly, is anybody that has anything in this realm, which has nothing to offer. That's the funny part. There's nothing here worth having. But anybody that has anything, it's because their family or somewhere, somebody in their bloodline, or they themselves took it through power, money, and force, right? And so isn't that part of the Christ story, is to understand that there's nothing here that's not of the nature of death. Render unto Caesar, let the dead bury the dead. It's not worth having. How can something dead be worth having? Meanwhile, let me treat my blessing as if it were a curse by going out here and running roughshod over these slaves and just taking stuff. And that's the craziest part. With my dynamism and my testosterone, I could just take shit. And I don't mean thieving, right? You just take shit. And these authoritarians would just happily let me have it, right? But that ain't the way. That's not the perfected path within. That's to treat this realm as if it has the validity. That's to treat this realm as if it has the value. It doesn't. There's no value here. No value can possibly originate here, right? Again, render unto Caesar. Let the dead bury the dead. Hey, thanks. Good to see you, by the way. Sometimes, I think last time I didn't know who you were, and then by the time I figured it out, I didn't know what was going on. So thank you very much. Much appreciated to the donators. They've been few and far between lately, but that's okay. That's to be expected at times. Earn your keep, Benton. Right? Oh, or just go out here and take whatever I want and rape and pillage the countryside metaphorically. Right? Why would I go slave away for a business when I now see clearly that this world is set up for me to lower myself by just going out here and taking from people? See? Right. And remember that one day, and thank you for the Venmo. When I was doing the hotel streams, I got irritated because I took a day off, a rare day off, and everybody just went and watched OTW, this other YouTube channel. And I said, well, shit, they're kind of showing me what they think of my content. And then I basically just ordered the audience to send me donations, and they did. And it was kind of like, oh my God, I didn't realize I could just boss these people around. It's not the current audience. I did not realize I could just boss these people around and they would just more or less follow my orders. It's a slave class, right? And I don't mean the so-called truthers. I'm talking about American society broadly. It's a slave class. And you know how much of the Bible is tied up in the idea of slaves and slave classes and, classism in society, right? And this idea of, oh, they. What is meant when people say they're doing this, they're doing that conspiratorially? That's the class of people whose families and they themselves see that to just take whatever they want by force, but to also do it kind of dressed up in a legalese. So in the Christ story, you had the teachings and the example of Christ. Then he was gone, ascended up out of here, right? And pretty soon, the enemy, the realm that makes an enemy of what I am. Well, here you got Saul of Tarsus, the secular Roman J, and then Lucifer appears, not Christ, Lucifer appears. And next thing you know, here's Paul just saying, oh, teachings of Christ, give me that. I'm going to take that. See, he just took it. And then he took it to the church, right? The early church. See, Christianity, because of the influence of Christ. Well, Christ left. Christ did the influencing and left. The influence wasn't supposed to be, hey, why don't y'all click up and make a business out of a religion? That wasn't it was, hey, the kingdom of God or the kingdom of love is within you. How about y'all just do the actual teachings, but not forcefully, right? Not to make them do the teachings, because that could never work. So Christ leaves, and then here come Lucifer appearing to as a brilliant angel, and maybe he tricked. I don't know. Did Saul of Tarsus know what he was supposedly bowing down to? Don't know. We know that Saul was not a man of enlightenment. We know Saul was not a man who first prepared the soil within himself. We know how low and degenerated he was. So what was all that Christ talk, right? About, the sower and, pearls before swine and presumably needing to receive instruction to prepare the way internally, right? Oh, well, or somebody who was on his way to persecute Christians, right? Bebopping down Damascus Boulevard. Oh, well, look, here's a brilliant angel. Well, how they describe Lucifer? Oh, but it's not a brilliant angel, it's Christ. And now all of a sudden it's, oh, that's Christ. So you think Lucifer can't say, hey, it's me, partner? You think you, and I don't even want to say it. You think Lucifer couldn't do that? But Christians believe there's going to be an antichrist. But Lucifer couldn't appear to Saul in his degenerated state because he would have to be in a degenerated state. How else could Saul be persecuting Christians? And people say, oh, well, God will use anybody, blah, blah, blah. Bull shite. Because this works on free will. Bullshit. Nope. Cut off. It has to be based on consent. He's cut off. Just what I am, the most super intelligent power and force of love and creation, it don't take slaves. It don't take concubines. It doesn't create bondage. It doesn't know what that is. See? So Christ, or what I am, it can't appear to Saul of Tarsus in his degenerated state and more or less cause Saul to fall down and worship, if that's what happened. I don't completely remember the story. Not possible. And then Saul proved it, that he ain't what he says he was, when he went off to the church and said, hey, here's basically my sworn affidavit about this this thing that just happened to me on the road over yonder. Could you go ahead and sign off on this, please? Because that example of Christ and those teachings, we finna take that, partner, and I'm finna write a whole bunch of letters. And since the state of executed for Jesus for sedition, I'm going to go around as Saul of Tarsus, and I'm going to do just enough to not get executed, but to get cast into jail only to be freed repeatedly. And, letters from the Birmingham jail, MLK. Oh, well, MLK was an agent of the system, blah, blah, blah. What do you think Saul of Tarsus was? Agent of the system, agent of chaos. And these people, because they've been indoctrinated and because their minds are not their own, and because they've been indoctrinated, they can't see for themselves, and they can't imagine how it's possible to have Jesus inside of them, the resurrection of the risen Christ within, without a dead book called the Holy Bible. Dead words on a dead page. Oh, well, Benton, in the beginning was the Word. Oh, was it a KJV in the English language floating out in space? Is that what in the beginning means? In the beginning of what? Exactly. You're going to tell, oh, but now within delusion, there was a God the Father, and okay, the beginning of that? What, the beginning of what exactly? If the person can't be specific, they don't know what they're talking about. What you talking about, Willis? And then people want to talk about Word of God. Oh, a book, a dead book. Sure it's not. Sure it's not. This is foolishness. This is insanity. So again, back to this world, example after example. Hey, just take the power. Just take the power, right? Nobody will stop you. As long as you're taking the power in service of this vacuous, delusory, adversarial realm of business transactions, no problem. No problem whatsoever. Anybody getting ahead in the current environment is doing so through illegal, fraudulent, unethical, and or illegal means. Anybody. Doesn't matter if it's a corporation, doesn't matter if it's the banking system, doesn't matter if it's whoever in your backyard that's growing their local business. They're going to grow to a point, and if they don't remove their integrity to keep growing, right, get busy living or get busy dying. That's one of the first rules of business is you got to keep the thing growing. It's got to keep expanding. Well, at a certain point, it's not going to continue to grow and expand if the owners and the people controlling it don't divorce themselves from their own integrity. And it's always an arms race of, well, we know the competition is probably not playing by the rules, to the letter of the law and the code. So, hey, we'll just go ahead and beat them to the punch, right? We'll just go ahead and beat them to the punch. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's the same people that have been going to church their whole life, and the church don't pay taxes, and the church tells them because Saul of Tarsus wrote some stuff from the Birmingham jail, right? He wrote some letters to the churches, so you got to pay your taxes, right? But the church doesn't pay its taxes, right? How does that make any sense? But anything to avoid taking ownership of the internal space and seizing the power within, see? And that's what this world makes its enemy of. Because what I am is I've never been cut off from my own internal power source, ever. Yeah, I've foolishly tried to be a normie in all this. I've never been cut off from what I am inside, ever. That's a violation. That's to treat one's blessing as if it were a curse. That's my birthright, partner. It's my birthright. Saul of Tarsus got nothing to do with my birthright. We're not talking about the resurrection of the risen Saul of Tarsus. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? We're talking about Christ. What I am is the way. What I am is the truth. What I am is the life. No one comes unto true knowledge of what's going on in here without Christ consciousness. See, that's Jesus representing symbolically, right, in the flesh, some sort of illuminated being, right? Never not possessed of knowing on some level what he was. And then understanding from a young age that there's nothing here worth having because everything that traces its origins to this world is dead. So the way of this world is the lack of all of the characteristics of what I am. Oh, you want something in this world? The desire for what this world has to offer? That's all various forms of death. Well, you got to go take it. Go get it. Oh, you mean your ancestors didn't go get it? Well, sorry about your luck. That means somebody in your bloodline is going to have to go get it. Might as well be you. Off you go. Go get it. And then, of course, the corporations and the system, you can't be a deadbeat, right? You can't, you got to be productive. Motherfucker, what I am doesn't know a lack of production. What I am couldn't be unproductive if it tried. Are you crazy? Not possible. So, yeah, go ahead and let's fill Benton's psychology and his head full of a bunch of lies, and then off you go, little Benton. Go out there and serve corporations, please, and serve a system of money, right? And serve the churches. You're a good little servant. Look at him. Look at him serve. Look at him slave. He's obedient because he's scared. He's a God-fearing man. Oh, what about the parable of the talents? And who was in trouble out of the three men that were given? They try to conflate it with money, but it was an endowment or a bestowment. Well, the one who feared God, so-called air quotes God, the one who feared God, well, he buried his because out of his fear that when the Lord returned, again, so-called, the one guy wanted to make sure that he had the Lord's property, see, because he was fearing, air quotes, so-called God. There's your God-fearing man. It's right there in the pages of the book. Use your head for more than a hat rack. Wise as serpents, harmless as doves. Oh, I was harmless as a dove in that laundromat, setting that lady straight. And forgive the first transgression. That's called turning the other cheek. You get slapped on this cheek. They slap this cheek. You ain't got another cheek to turn. Partner, they done slap both of them. That's my job to make sure that don't happen. Bet it don't happen again. Bet she thinks about me later today. And that's not the goal. That ain't the goal. But, ain't no actual men out here. And it's fine. It's not about men versus women. But ain't no actual. That's why I can't get a moment's peace walking around. Ain't no men out here. Oh, I'm pretty sure I singed my fucking hair. Look at this. You can't really see it, but it feels weird. Pretty sure I singed my hair with my stove the other day. Wasn't really wanting to have to shave my head again, but that might happen. Silly humans. silly humans. And, you know, even at a certain point years ago, this bless the food, you know, Southern people especially wanting to pray over every meal. And it just dawned on me one day, motherfucker, the food is the blessing. Why y'all blessing the food? What is wrong with you? The food is the blessing. Because you want to be, who wants to be cursed with not having a meal, right? Is that a blessing or a curse to not have a meal, right? Oh, better bet. Oh, you know. Again, like the guy that, oh, we're God feared. Oh, thank you, God. Thank you for the meal. The Lord's Prayer, give us this day. No, man, it's not give us this day. It's an acknowledgement that what I am is always provided for here. And if not, so what? That's temporary anyway, just like everything's temporary. What do I need out here? Not much. When a person unlocks the achievement of true knowledge of self and knows at a visceral level that the only value here is what I am, not Benton the performer, not Benton the performance, that there is no meaning or value to be found externally. None. Not your family, not your job, not your community, not your property. It's all dead. Oh, but we love our families. Well, number one, Tina Turner said, what's love got to do with it? Number two, oh, yeah, you love them in the way of a status quo, social contract, conformity to peer groups, meaning this world doesn't know what love is. This is a performance of love within a world of death and a game of lies. This world doesn't know what love is. See? No idea, no clue, clueless. Clueless. Yeah. Only understands love in a backwards rationalized, backwards constructed way based on the lack of love, tolerance, acceptance. You know, that's one of this world's greatest tricks. You know, and to be told from day one exactly what loves you. See, to be told from day one, you know, instructed on what love is and what does or doesn't love the being, right? Oh, okay, sure. But then now we get to the spiritual attack and the gaslighting. Oh no, that's you, Benton. That no, I'm going by what I observe. Kidding me? Is you crazy? I'm going by what I observe. I'm going by what I see out here with some of my own experience. Yeah, but people will pretend to love me, right? How can somebody that doesn't know what love is love me? It's pretend. It's in here. See, worshiper and worshipee contained within the same space. It ain't out there. Ain't no love to be found out there. None. Right? Say, oh well, a mother and her child. Well, sure, instinct. Right? Just like the father has certain instincts. I'm not saying there's not a sentiment. I'm not saying that. It's not what we're saying. Right? But meanwhile, what does the Bible say? The Bible says, you know, something about the last days and, you know, father turned against, just the whole thing, whatever it is, you know, the description of how society will turn on itself. Are you looking around out here and telling me that you don't see that? You don't see that society has turned on itself? Right? You don't see that? I mean, seriously. A blind man can see that, Billy. Shout out to Nolan Richardson. Bam. Hang on, y'all gonna have to wait a second. We don't have to. Oh, I don't have Venmo. The phone I'm on, have Venmo on, is on my. I'm using it for YouTube. 10-4, that's what I see on the screen. That's trucker code, 10-4. Oh, now it's 8-4. Yep. Because this realm loves you so much, that it figured out before you got here exactly what air quotes so-called God is, and it went ahead and prepared the way for you to be obediently told through an authoritarian system exactly how to check all the boxes, so you ain't got to even think about a proper discipline of love. See, you don't even have to concern yourself with that. Which, what does that do? That frees the individual up to serve a world of death and a game of lies through their own actions, and to perpetuate evil, and to, instead of making the tree good through their own wisdom, discernment, and attainment, and uncovering the perfected path within and then walking it, come what may. No, it's to make the tree rotten, except most people ain't even got the balls to make the tree rotten. They want to live with the herd in the middle ground, where they torture themselves to the greatest extent possible by attempting to plausibly give on a performance of making the tree good, while behind closed doors, when they think nobody's watching, they're engaged in the pleasures of the flesh, and that's fine. Do whatever. I've got plenty of experience in that, and it doesn't have to be in a you know, a carnal context. That can be many things, right? And when I look at the American people, these are people who do everything necessary, whatever it may be, even if it's their daughters and sons showing their booty holes on OnlyFans, whatever they got to do to get the money to indulge in the pleasures of the flesh. Well, not old Benton. Not for quite some time, Jack. And I mean the pleasures of the flesh, because that ain't no pleasure at all. That's dead. There is no living pleasure of the flesh. Son of Man's dead. He showed it. They executed the Son of Man on the cross in the story of the Bible. It showed you its own nature. What do you think all that Son of Man talk in the Bible is supposed to mean? But I can Google it, and the Google doesn't know what it means, or pretends not to know. And now Peter Thiel, and I know Peter Thiel isn't Google, but you know, these folks like Peter Thiel wanting to give a damn symposium, years-long symposiums on the Antichrist, right? And you know, all of these people, again, the people who just take whatever they want and nobody stops them, because that's how this place works. It ain't set up to stop predators from preying upon the populace. It's set up to do the opposite. It's set up to facilitate the predators preying on the populace while making it look like the system cares about the populace, right? And the sheep and those who seek the security and safety of herds. That's why the Antichrist stuff will work, or does work. I mean, the system is Antichrist as perpetuated. It's because the masses respond powerfully to anything that will whisper sweet nothings in their ears and tell them that they're going to be safe and secure. That's all they care about. That's all, and that's why they're the slave class, because they will slave away willingly in service of this system of things, as long as someone or something whispers sweet nothings into their ears about how they're safe and secure, and they themselves are consecrated and you know, in some way anointed by consumption, right? By connecting their own self-image to branding and products and services. See, what's up, Rachel? Good to see you. Lovely, lovely. Now, something needs to happen though, probably, especially with two, at least a minimum of two lovely ladies in the house. Oh, three. Venus, what's up? Good to see you. Now, who is this GRV Productions? Anybody know who that is? See, it reminds. Well, I won't even get into it. I almost started bragging, but it doesn't matter. That's dead too. But either way, I won't even get into it. I won't even get into it. Oh man, telling myself jokes in my own head now. But yeah, the more I get down into these tissues, like I was talking about, and the more range of motion, and now it's the healing, y'all. The healing. Y'all better get y'all some of this healing, right? So, so you got Christians wanting to follow Christ and can't heal themselves. So, if Christ was in need of healing, if Christ's own energy sphere and flesh and internal space needed to be healed, I don't know, what would Christ do? See? Would he heal himself? So how is somebody going to be a follower of Christ and the teachings of the Bible and all of this and not have access to healing and regeneration? How do you think I didn't die, folks? Go back to what I looked like on some of them streams. How do you think I didn't die? And I mean in the context of this life. I mean, again, this isn't even life, right? Life is a breakfast cereal. Mikey likes it. But good old Mikey, 8-year-old boy getting taught the ways of this wicked world and how to go serve corporations, right? And that's, again, the realm mocking and saying, look, Mikey likes it. Because we told him it's life. We told him he's free. We told him how wonderful all of the things money can buy. So off you go, little Mikey. He likes it. See? It's a violation. It's sick. It's twisted. It's garish and ghoulish. It's a fucking nightmare. Am I being love bombed in the chat? What other names do you go by, GRV Productions? Which of your names is this? Can we go ahead and this is, I'm thinking, is one of your less frequent names. So out with it. Name yourself. And see, these people that come on here with multiple names, they really show themselves for what they are just through the multiple names. I mean, they really do. Oh, okay. Well, see, we got women around, and we can't have you creeping them out potentially. So we'll see you. We'll see you tomorrow. Better luck next time. But see, when there's lovely ladies around, we don't let the creepazoids. We don't let the creepazoids remain around. See, that ain't cool. Because lovely ladies don't like being around creepazoids, in my experience. I don't want to speak for them. But in my experience, the lovely ladies don't like being around creepazoids. Yeah. Because I know one thing about old Truther Cop. He ain't never been followed around a Walmart by 3 lovely ladies simultaneously. That's never been his reality. Right. Nope. The lovely ladies won't be here early in the morning. If you want to come back and get some of this good game. Now is it the procession of see, this is what I love about the YouTube chat. And this is why increasingly on the morning streams there may not be a live chat. This procession of names. That's funny. Yep. That's funny. I like it. I like it. But to me, that's that the idea of the demons, all of this demonology in the Bible, and when commanded to name themselves, the one time it was said, we are legion, right? And look at how quickly some of these people, it's just like, this name gets banned, here's the next one, here's the next one, here's the next one, right? And Christ supposedly cast out like 7 demons from Mary Magdalene. Was it in succession or simultaneous? Or was it one after the other, right? Did they go in sequence? Is it least offensive demon? Did they go least to strongest, or did they go strongest to least? I don't know. It's funny to think about, though. And of course, Benton's own testimony, delivered from wicked spirits, unclean spirits, and demonic spirits in the name and power, right, of the Lord Christ Jesus, because that's what Jesus is about. Jesus is about power. And if somebody can't see Christ and the Christ story in the Bible and not recognize the power, right? That's power. But it's not what this world teaches that power is. And it's not the power of these systems, right? It's not the power of the government or the military. It's not the power of corporations and money and rich people. See? Yeah, good question. That's right, Rachel. It's a mystery, right? It's a mystery. And, I tend to brag a little too much, so I don't even want to get into that, but it's neither here nor there. And then in my own forgiving nature and accepting nature, see, that's my nature. That's the nature of what I am. It's not to perform love, tolerance, and acceptance. It's not for Truth or Cop. The last time he came to my live chat, he was shown to be foolish. Well, now he comes back on his best behavior, love bombing. See, that's a performance of love, tolerance, and acceptance. See, but in my own nature of love, tolerance, and acceptance, see, I want to give people the benefit of the doubt instead of taking one look at somebody like Truth or Cop and say, well, clearly this is some creep who's probably, just, I know how women respond to somebody like that. It's just obvious, right? But it's not to put him down, because Benton has never been a person that puts people down to build himself up. But just like at the laundromat this morning, the spirit of what I am, that's a violation. How's the spirit of what I am going to be bossed around and kowtow and browbeaten by some random old Chinese lady, right? That ain't the spirit of Benton. Says, no, you don't do that, lady. Leave me alone, sugar. And just show them what it is. No malice, right? But you got to wait your turn, lady. And again, I don't want to speak for the ladies, but do you think a woman wants to be on the arm of a man who will just let any and everybody in society seemingly push them around? Oh, because it's a woman and she's smaller and she's this and she's disadvantaged. What's that got to do with having proper manners and conducting oneself in a proper way? What's that have to do with me refusing to lower myself? So now I got to be less than because there's other people out here, and those are the same people. And this is part of how I was really got on this jag about, most of these people, they do whatever they're forcefully made to do. See, now, I'm not there to forcefully make people do shit. That's this world. That's what people respond to here, most of them. You got the they, which is the ruling class or the so-called elites, and in service of their master, which is antithesis or Satan or whatever you want to call it, they're out here running roughshod over the populace, raping and pillaging metaphorically and just taking whatever they want. And then you have the majority of people who love being bossed around. They love to obey. They don't even want to think about it. See, they just want to do whatever they're going to do. Well, in this world, might makes right. And hey, there's another one of those bozo white guys. We don't need to worry about him at the sink. What do you think she would have done if there was another Chinese lady there? She would at least said, hey, do you mind if that's all it would have taken. Hey, do you mind if I slide in on here, partner? Or even just a, hey, how are you? Anything human, supposedly. Just give me something other than just there's what they call us, right? White ghost. That's the translation for what they call it, white ghost. We're not even alive to them, right? So why would she? It's an inanimate object. You're going to go up to a tree and say, excuse me, right? Hell no. Tree's in your way. You're going to, excuse me, tree. And the size difference is so much. I might as well be a tree to her. Yeah, white ghost, black ghost. Hey, we got Landry in the house. What's happening? Yeah, thanks, Rachel. Yeah, I mean, for real, it's crazy. And, again, it's going to sound like bragging. I was at the egg aisle in Hope, Arkansas Supercenter, driving a truck on my 30-minute break, trying to get in there and do my shopping. And meanwhile, it's a whole they had the whole bottom layer was nothing but the exact same style of eggs. It's 20 feet of the same kind of eggs. So I'm looking at the eggs. Next thing I know, here's little Gen Z in her fucking hot pants Just right next to him. I'm like, what is this? Because, you know, I don't like, it's Space Invaders. I don't like this. There's a little Gen Z. He. Starts talking to me, chatting me up. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Her fella's over there with the shopping cart. I'm just looking around like, this is fucking crazy. Do you think she wants that, or would she want somebody? It doesn't have to be like me. I just mean, or do you think she would want a guy that be like, hey, listen, if you think you're gonna be my girl, you don't act like that. But see, because society is fully uptaken feminism, he can't say that and status quo, social contract, and conform to peer groups. He can't do that. He's not free to put her in her place. And she knows that she's just out here habitually line stepping. He. And next thing you know, she's sidle up to me, who wouldn't put up with it for 2 seconds. Right? And to me, it's just basic stuff. It's just basic. Right? And it's not about ownership or possession. It's like, yo. And when I first met ex-wife number 2, when we first started dating, she started acting like she was single. She met some chick. We weren't living together yet. Some chick moved in next door. And you know, my second wife was raised in a different kind of cult, Seventh-day Adventist. She's impressionable. And that's not to make excuses. Next thing you know, she's going out with this single, little older woman, 5 years older maybe. She started living like she was single. I immediately started seeing women. I mean, immediately. Because that's the only thing to do. Oh, she's acting like she's single. I guess I'm single. Fuck. Whole way, I would have rather been with her, see? I really didn't have no desire other than the flesh desire is always there. And remember, this was an earlier form of Benton. This was over 15 years ago, right? Longer. Early 30s, see? And what do you think she did? Quick, fast, in a hurry, cut that chick off and stop carousing around town like she was single. Because that's the only way to get what she wanted from me. So she made her choice. It's not about possession, and it's not about bossing people around. Even though that does work, they call that guerrilla pimping. I said, well, shit, I know what I'd be doing if I was going out to bars and clubs and living like I was single and getting hit on. Because you remember, she's an attractive woman getting hit on. Well, I know what that looks like, so I guess I better go. I was working at the Outback Steakhouse. I knew plenty of women that would have wanted to see me at the time. This is obvious. You think Truther Cop's ever had? You think Truther Cop knows anything about that? But there's nothing in me that wants to rub his nose in it. But then he wants to creep around and thinks he's gonna you know, maybe I'll leave some crumbs behind. There ain't no crumbs, buddy. Do better, Truther Cop. Do better. Fuck. This is crazy. What's even going on here? Right? But yeah, just the feminism is just this idea that, oh, well, blame feminism. Feminism is society. Feminism is society. It's one of the many layers in society. It's just normalized. Well, that's fine, but I don't have to participate. You know, if I don't want to, I'm free to. It's my choice. Right? This shit is bananas. Bananas. And back to the topic at hand, that's the way of this world. You know, just take whatever's on offer, and don't concern myself with her fella over there with the shopping cart. And I know people's minds go to a certain type of filth, right? These things, you know, moment by moment access to filth on here, right? There's a particular flavor of filth involved in. See, immediately when I've told this story before about the guy, and it creeps me out, man. Just her doing that creeps me out, and she just felt so free and emboldened, right, to go talk to somebody right in front of her man. But then people want to conflate it to a certain type of adult material that they may have seen. Yeah, I don't think he probably likes it, honestly. I doubt it's just, oh, well, that's his particular thing. I don't think so. I really don't think so. He looked like a hard-working, he was Hispanic too, some flavor of Hispanic. He looked like he's probably responsible, hard-working. I have no idea if they have a kid, probably not, but probably wants to knock one of these broads up, get married, and do the normal, traditional, so-called Hispanic thing. She's never going to treat him that way, ever. You think she's going to be cooking and cleaning and washing his drawers and raising his babies? Uh-uh. And so something in me has always known that, right? This is just not, it's not that time in history anymore. And I don't believe it. The only time it was that time in history was when that's what the system needed the slaves to do. The system needed the slaves to behave in certain ways. And I've talked about that, the system knows us better than we know ourselves, and it knows how to manipulate. And so it understands there's something in a man that responds to, being, just wants to go off, deal with the wicked world, do the job, bring home the bacon, and, more or less leave the rest of it to the wife. Not everything, but most of it. Thank you, Rachel. Much appreciated. But to do those things, see, men don't do that. And it's not men, it's males. Humans are so degenerated, males don't do that unless, again, they have to be authorized to do that. If a authority that they need an authority greater than themselves to teach them and guide them and steer them in that direction. See? And some of us, it just more or less comes naturally. And then that was what was modeled for me as well, culturally and what I observed. But it's also, hey, I've been interacting with women my whole life. How about I just observe them and see what they respond to and pay little to no mind to what they say they respond to, right? Okay, let's just watch what they do. Watch what they respond to. And how they respond to Truth or Cop and how they respond to a different guy. It doesn't have to be me. It's two very different things. And so when I met my second wife, I understood the nature of she wanted to date me, and her indoctrination is when you meet the guy that you want to date and be with potentially, you withhold from him. And then because I understood the nature of women, I said, well, this same woman who might withhold from me, she might have a fuck buddy, and for all I know, because we're not in any agreement here. See, she could go out on a date with me and then booty call, right? And she knows he's not marriage material. He's not relationship material. He don't meet her needs except one need, right? So why would I allow myself to be strung along? So I finally just had to tell her, I said, listen, this seems to be going good. We get along great, but I'm finna tell you, I don't mind saying that my primary reason for interest in this whatsoever, I think we both know what it is. And if it doesn't happen pretty soon, you're not going to see me. I don't know what to tell you. And I said it as gently and as inoffensively as possible, but I meant it. So I don't know what to tell you. If you think this is just going to keep on and on and on, right? You're crazy. See? But then part of a woman's sexual desire is putting up resistance and then having it overwhelmed. But I'm not going to take it by force, right? So I will do my job to initiate physical intimacy. But when the person is we hit that point where consent must be achieved. Well, I'm all right. Well, we'll just try another time, right? Or in the case of her, bitter adieu for the night. All right. Well, it's been great. Have a good night. Probably had to drive her home. Now that I think about it, and who cares? Because who needs that anyway? And again, this was earlier Benton. This is like 20 years ago now, almost, Benton. And how is it 2025 and males still don't understand these dynamics? It's beyond me. It really is. And could I have earned my living teaching all of this? Absolutely, of course. But not and treat my blessing not without cursing my blessing. And somehow I've just known all along not to curse my blessing, even though the blessing of my birthright, what I am, which is one with the most super intelligent power and force of love and creation possible. Now, did I, falsely identify with the validity of this world and enjoy the pleasures of the flesh in various ways? Of course, out of ignorance, didn't know no better. All right. And that's its own punishment anyway. There's no future in that. That's back to the idea of there's nothing here worth having anyway, and that includes any of the pleasures of the flesh. That ain't worth having. It's not worth having. It's really not. And people talk about money as a tool, and you can do with this with it and do that with it. That's really not the case anymore. Now, I'm being a little hypocritical because people do donate, but the reality is that doing a thing to seek the money that comes with it, right? That's what I'm talking about. So to go drive the truck, do I enjoy truck driving? Yeah, in a vacuum. If I can just wake up, and if I can just live in a truck, wake up already loaded, roll out of the truck stop between midnight and 2 a.m. and drive a couple of days, hopefully, and then pick up and deliver on the same day and get treated like a human being, right? And treated like it actually is a valuable, productive job, right? Which it's not, because people don't treat it that way. And if it was a valuable, productive job, and if truck drivers was a respectable profession, the government wouldn't be bringing people here from other countries who are just given CDLs and don't ever have to actually learn how to do the job. They don't have to learn all the things that I learned to become a truck driver, a safe, proper, doing the job properly. So if I do the job properly, then I'm still treated like a subhuman piece of garbage who may as well have came here from sub-Saharan Africa or India or wherever. And not to say those people are less than, but that's how the system has to look at it. Because if America was what it says it is, it would say, hey, government, why do you think you're going to bring these people from foreign lands when we have enough people here to do the job? Oh, well, the system is telling this lie through the American Trucking Association that there's a truck driver shortage. Well, there's not, and there never has been. It's that the conditions in the industry are so shitty and the pay is so low comparatively that nobody who actually needs to perform in a way at status quo, social contract upholding, and conforming to peer groups, they can't leave their families to be treated like subhuman garbage and for low wages comparatively. Now, if you doubled their salary and treated them okay, what you would find is there's plenty of people who would love to do long haul truck driving and are really good at it. There's a lot of them. And, some of them you could get, they work 2 weeks, they're off 2 weeks. So mama can't, whatever the amount of time is that mama can be without daddy around, see, whatever that is, however long he can be gone before she loses her fucking shit. And it's calling him up like, you got to get back here. These kids are driving me crazy, Well, but Americans don't do that, see. So they, because the American worker he won't make the industry give proper working conditions. There's not proper working conditions. So the fact is, there's very few people that are just naturally like me that don't have lives and that like to be by themselves and like life on the road. And it's neither here nor there, and are good at driving the truck safely, right? There's not enough of us to do the job. So if the industry degenerates to a certain level, we need to bring people from other countries, see, a lot of them are actual slaves. But as long as somebody in India is making sure their family's taken care of, then they don't really care. They're just here working, more or less working for free, like for real. That's barely an exaggeration, right? And the government just gives them a CDL. It says, here, off you go, right? And while pulling Benton in for inspection 6 times in 30 days in New Mexico, well, how many, on those 6 inspections, how many of the people who came to the country and were just, here you go, here's your CDL, how many of them just flew by on the interstate? while they were in there fucking with me, right? And they say, well, why would they do that? Because in order to maintain their certification, they have to do a certain number of inspections. And Gen Z has figured out, and millennials, younger millennials have figured out that they can profile and see, well, who's likely not to have actual violations here. So now it's Benton. And I talked him out of the last 2 inspections. I just said, look, what is this? Y'all keep pulling me in for inspection. Oh, it's random. I said, that's not possible. It can't be random. Because I've got 4 inspections right here on paper, and this has been in the last like 3 weeks. And now you're trying to do number 5. And then a few days later, they wanted to try to do number 6. At that point, I'm just like, almost like just looking at them like, are you serious? Really? The government, the last 2 times, just said, okay, get out of here. Because they knew I knew their game. And I hadn't even connected the part where there was 20 turban wearers flying by on the interstate while they're fucking with me. And that's what an American is, to obey whatever they're told to obey. And pretty soon they're in the Walmart supercenter with a shopping cart, following a woman around a store, pushing a grocery cart, and then she's over there talking to that old man who's just like, can I just get my eggs? Like, what is this? You know? I mean, seriously, that's my reaction, is basically like, can I have, I'm here for the eggs, woman. Like, what's going on? And I'm looking at him like, I'm looking at, because I saw them together early, and I'm looking at him and I'm looking at her. And she's just, he. This is fucking crazy. That's America, folks. Is that to be defended? Is that to be upheld? Where's the honor in that? Oh, rootin' tootin' birds, we're MAGA. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, bo. We're rootin' tootin' MAGA. Because look at them Democrats over there. Biden's poopy diaper. So I get to strut my stuff. Okay, buddy. How's that working out for you? Right? It's not. It ain't working for anybody except them, the powers that be, the ones who just see what they want out here and take it. Right? Well, true power, again, back to the Christ story, to know that the being can just take whatever they want, more or less, on some level, right, in some form. And to be like, no, I'm good, it ain't worth it. It has no value anyway. It has no meaning. It has no purpose. It has no value because it's dead. The only purpose, the only meaning, the only value is only ever accessible within myself. Ever. That's just how it is. Don't kill the messenger. I didn't make it that way. Brief break. Returning shortly. Trying to decide what I want to have for my first meal. We're either going fruit or we're going sardines and black beans. And I know sardines sound gross. They're canned herring. It's delicious, actually, with a habanero sauce. Habanero sauce. All right. Let me check in on the Venmo real quick. I'll be right back, I think. All right, we're back. And what did I say? What have I been saying about who supported Jesus' early ministry? Right? Women. Women. I done had 2 donations today, both from the lovely ladies. So, thank you all to the lovely ladies. Much appreciated. That makes a big difference in my life right about now. Well, it's been an hour. I don't know. See, and I'm certainly not obligated. You know, I don't think they would want me to feel obligated, but I do like to give the people what they want when possible. But I think I'm going to go. I don't know. I still can't decide which way to go. Fruit or. Yeah, I think we're going fruit. So at the risk of eating on stream here. Where are the prunes? Yeah, you know you're old. You know I'm an old man when I'm going for the prunes. Oh yeah, there they are. Bam. Pitted prunes. So I don't know if people want to watch me eat, but I don't know. Might have to end the stream. What do y'all think? All right, Rachel. Thank you very much. I don't know if Carrie's still around, or not, but if she is, thank you as well. Much appreciated. And yeah, I think I'm gonna get out of here and be back early in the AM tomorrow. Maybe do a second stream, kind of like this, possibly. We'll see, but I'm old. I need to digest my food, and if I keep hooping and hollering on here, I don't know that I'll be able to. But hopefully I made some points. I'd like to think so. So thank y'all for watching. Bye.